All righty. Now we're going to get to some questions that were written. Well, it's kind of on the lines of what we've been talking about. As a parent, at what point do you stop financially supporting your children if they are of age to get a job? Well, I'll tell you how I was raised, and this is how my parents say, either you're going to do two things. You're going to go to school, or you're going to get a job. That's all. That was it. You're going to go to school, or you're going to get a job.
And then what you got to do is you got to teach your child how to save money when they get a job. Yeah. And you know, you really have to teach them because they're not going to live with you forever. And I always say about kids, one day you're gonna be somebody's parent. One day you're going to be somebody's husband. So it's better to learn while you're here before you get out there, and then you can't even take care of your wife, because you know women do get pregnant. And when they get pregnant, they got to stay at home. They can't get out of labor and go back like Tina, you know. So some money has to be saved, you know, and you know, you got to teach them money management while they you know, and teach them about you need this amount of money to ride the bus, this amount of money for lunch, or whatever, you know. Teach your kids about money so they can understand about money. And then when they get about 17, 18 years old, then you teach them to save their money for a car. You know, instead of waiting on mommy and daddy buy you a car, use your faith for you buy your own car. You know, it's nice to have a present, but we just hoping and praying for the present. We ain't saying the present gonna come with the car. But while they're at home, it's good to teach them about management of money, how to divide their money up for their lunch money, how to divide their money up for to catch the bus.
That's something you start when they're very young.
You know,
but then I guess the question is, if they're of age to get a job, if you're of age to get a job, then you should get a job.
No, you said when you stop supporting them. When do you stop supporting
at what
them?
point do you stop financially supporting your child if they are of age to get a job? They should be getting a job.
No, but what if they got a job and you still giving them money? I'm not still paying your phone bill.
Well, that is the question. If they do have a job, why are you still giving them money? Now, if it's because they blowing their money, then we need to straighten this out. Because I'm not going to give you, you know. But then I know some kids will put the guilt trip on, well, you know, I'm going to get to work, I'll lose my job. See, then that's when that little tough love come in. And I know everybody can't handle that one. Don't play that, don't throw that card. And I'm saying that, you know what, let me be more sensitive, okay? I'm going to really be more sensitive. That is more easier when there's a man in the house. Let me just cut right to it. See, I'm talking for man because I can easily do that. But I'm being insensitive because you have a lot of households where you have single parent and it's just that woman now.
That's true.
So that's a little difficult. I can do that. But if you don't have that, that can be kind of tough. Because I know mothers really who, that's my baby, I don't want them to get out there and all that kind of, you know, and men, we better like, hey, you better get it together. You know, but on the same token, you've got to talk to them, and it could be tough, you know, if it's if they got a job and they blowing the money and then you got to still give them money, something wrong here. It's like, listen, you can't keep doing this. And you're going to have to cut it somewhere, because what's that message I preached years ago? When helping you, it's time to let go.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
But it's just like I think just putting out, one of my kids like a clown. And I had got very upset. And I'm the type of mother, you know, I can look just like I'm looking now. but I'm packing your clothes. I'm throwing you out. And I look at it like this. My son had a car. So I didn't have no afraid of like, he going to be homeless. No, he sleep in his car. He can sleep in his car. He can go, I don't care where he go. He getting out of here. And the thing about, because women have for some reason, guys think they can push over women, especially their mama. And they can be aggressive and think they can just do that stuff. But I'm just like the cat. I can be nice, but I'm getting you out of my house. You're not gonna rise up on me, especially when I had you. Anybody know Marvin Gaye? Marvin Gaye, do anybody remember the story?
We don't want to.
We don't say that.
Go
but
there.
Anyway, I'm not gonna let you rise up on me. And single parents do have that problem, especially with boys try to rise up on their mother. And you really have to pray and also, teach your son that you can't rise up on me. I'm doing my best to love you, doing my best to keep you sheltered and keep you covered, and I'm not trying to hurt you. And you have to say it, though. You got to tell your kids that I'm not trying to hurt you, right. And you're really not. Right. I'm trying to I'm doing the best I can do to help you go to another level. And you're not trying to rob them or rape them and stuff. And you got to keep on saying it because all kids here is that you just don't want me to have no fun. You just don't want me to do nothing. You just want me to do it. And that is not true. I want you to have fun because I enjoy having fun. But I don't want you to hang around certain people. Yeah. I know they troublemakers, and and I know we got goals to go through, Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to get you out of high school. I don't want you to get no girl pregnant. Come on, y'all. Yeah. Or you get pregnant. We got goals.
Sure. Alrighty. Next question was, if your parents tell you to do something against the word of God, such as lie or not pay tithes, do you go against what they, because you still live at home? A lot of people, something different, act different in church and out of church. Well, let me try to decipher this. If your parents tell you to do something against the word of God, well, we love and we obey our parents. We know that that's scripture. But we don't put anyone above God. My parent can't go tell me to, go out and go buy some dope. Oh, and I'm a Christian. No, I can't do that. So we Christians first. But we don't obey anyone that tell us to do something contrary to the word of God.
But I'm assuming that the parent is with the child at the same church. And if the parent is with the child at the same church, then the parent would know if the child's paying a tithe or not. Because it's different at home than it here.
Okay, but it's saying if your parents tell you to do something against the word of God, such as lie or not pay tithes, you're not going against what they say. You're doing what God said. No, I'm not. You don't sin for anybody. See, regardless of who that comes from. A husband and wife. You to love your spouse as Christ loved the church. But if they tell you to do something wrong, you're not supposed to do that. So whether if parent telling me don't pay tithes, what is that? I'm not sure the second part. A lot of people act different in church and out of church. Well, yeah, that is true. But definitely, you don't go against God at no cost. And sometimes there's a price to that. I understand that. Believe me, trust me, I do understand that. Believe me, I do.
Yeah, I remember I told this story. We had a young lady here that joined our church, and she was 16. She thinks she was 17 years old when she joined our church. And she used to sell dope for her brother. And her brother bought her a car. They lived in the projects. Her brother hooked up with a lot of stuff. And once she got saved under this ministry, and she went back home and told her brother she can't do that no more. She can't do it anymore. And her mother, her mother was involved with the dope because the mother was taking care of the money and what have you and stuff. Her mother kicked her out and told her, said, well, in this house, we sell dope. And if you don't want to live here anymore, you don't want to sell no dope, then you got to get out of my house. And she got kicked out.
Brother took the
car. Her brother took a car. Her brother took the car back, and she was homeless. So what she did, by her still being underage, she joined Job Corps. She joined Job Corps, Job Corps, or something like that, just to not be in the streets. But she took a stand for her salvation. She was not going to sell the dope no more. Her brother took the car away from her, and they said, you can't do this. But she took a stand. Now, at that time, I just really could not help her. Right, we could not help her. But she wrote me a letter back and said that we changed her life, and she moved into another state. She wound up joining the Army, but she took a stand for her salvation. Now this is a young girl at 16. She told her brother she wasn't going to do the dope no more. He took the car back. He gave her a run for her mother and, money. And she just believed God that I'm not going to do this. If I'm saved, I'm going to be saved. And she took a risk in doing that. And I'm not suggesting everybody do that, but she did take a risk. And she got kicked out, and she joined Job Corps. Eventually, after she got through with Job Corps, then she joined the Army. It was all about giving somewhere to live. Yeah.
All right. Next question. Can you elaborate a little more on mutual respect from parent to child? I would never disrespect my mother, but I cannot have any relationship with her because she is disrespectful to me and continues to talk about me to others. If she's not willing to be in, how can I deal with her on the smallest level? Well, you said the first thing. You never disrespect your parent. Never do that. Even if they're wrong and they say this or that, you never do that. If you got a parent, they just cuss you out. You don't say anything. You can't play the role. Oh, my mama, dad, don't so and so. I'm grown like you. You got to be careful. I know too many young graves for doing that. That's right, man. You don't never do that at no cost. See, because also, too, let me throw this in, too. When you disrespect your parent, and one day you're going to become one, and whatsoever man sow, need I say more on that? That's real life. Now, on the same token, if the parent is this or that, sometimes if the relationship is just not working, you may just have to separate. I don't know if you're still in the same household. If you're of age, and you may have to just kind of do your own thing and move on out or something. Or if you're out, the relationship is not there. Sometimes some relationships need separation to grow. Because some relationships can be really toxic, and sometimes you need to depart for a while, and where each person may need to grow. And then in time you can come together and work on it.
And then also, too, about disrespect, as you get older, and as you get older, sometimes just say, that's how they are. Instead you keep on getting mad about it. Sure. Every time y'all together, you just decide, that's how they are. And then when you make that choice, then it'll take the pressure off you always getting mad about something they do or something like that, or what having stuff. Because after a while, you keep getting mad, you making yourself miserable, because the person's not gonna change. And you just make a decision. You know what? That's who you are. Yeah. It ain't nothing about me not love you no more. It's only so much I can take. Mm-hmm. Only so much. Some people you just have 5 minutes with. Some people you have 5 hours, and you just one of them 5 people minutes.
Or even if you can't, now, if the relationship is there where you can talk to the parent, sometimes say, you know, when you say these things, you hurt me or this or that. But if the relationship is not there to say that, and it won't make a difference, then like I say, you may just have to kind of separate for a while.
And it does not have nothing to do with you don't love your parent. You do love your parent, and you know you don't want nothing to happen to them. But it's sometimes it's like that's who you are.
Yeah.
You know, I was not raised by my father, and you know, my father came into my life maybe at 12 or 13 years old, and he had another family somewhere else, and then he come into my life, and he, you know, he was just he's a nonsense, short sentence man. You know, he don't have a conversation. He like yes, no, you know, yeah, and I'm like, my God. After a while, you know, then you start taking the person like, you don't want nothing about me. But it was not nothing. It's not that he did not want to know nothing about me. He was a no-nonsense man. Yeah. He was like, yes, no. And that's all. You ain't getting no more. That's it. So I had to say, this is it. This is all I'm going to get.
Okay. How do you handle your child who doesn't want to follow the rules of the house? Well, once again, depending on that's why it really. Now let me back up. That's why it's so important to train your children, raise them in a certain way. It's not to say you're not going to have challenges, because you still may, but there's some things. There are some things some families don't go through. Because sometimes if the foundation and the structure is right, but that's not to say that you won't go through some things, but some things you won't have to really deal with. But anyway, it depended on the age of the child. See, remember, you are the parent. Okay, you are the parent, and you can't allow a child to intimidate you, especially if they are underage. You know, if you're trying to tell them this and they say, no, I'm not going to do that and all that kind of stuff. Well, as a Christian, if you got a rebellious child, that's pretty much, when a child just is like that, when they talk at their parent like that, I'm not going to do this, I ain't going to whatever, and just be rebellious, then you have to take this to the Lord. First of all, that's the main thing. But then on the same token, you're not going to let nobody run over you. And like I said, I know that could be really difficult when you have a single mother dealing with boys. You know, it's not saying that some girls don't give mothers a hard time either, you know, but it's a different type, you know, when you're dealing with sons and daughters. It's a different type of challenge, you know, entirely different type of challenge. And especially if there is no man there. When there's a strong man there, that makes all the difference in the world. Because a strong man is there, trust me. Too many people ain't going to act up.
They'll act up.
No, they'll try, but they'll only go to a certain point. They'll go to a certain point. Because when a strong man is there, whether it's a son or they'll go to a certain point, and they like, I better back off because 911 going to get called. So now I know that is so not the popular thing to say in this generation, but I'm still a believer in the scriptures. Spare the rod, spoil a child, even if they 31. It's just a different type of rod. See, I ain't putting no belt to no big grown kids. Now, here we like this now. Oh, ain't no more belt. It's time to get in the ring. Some of y'all ain't laughing at all. Y'all like, all right. See, I can say it because I got 2 girls and 2 boys, and none of them, they in their mind, they could try to rise, but see, some tell them, stop it. To this day. If my boys was here right now, to this day, in their mind they could think a lot. You old, but their body know if they. I'm laughing, but they know I ain't kidding. My girls said they know I'm not joking. See, y'all got to pray for me for that, because you know I was brought up this way. Don't disrespect me. I really, other than Jesus have to help me, I have zero tolerance with disrespect. I ain't saying you got to get all violent and crazy, but I have zero tolerance with disrespect. What was the question? All right. I know children must obey their parents, but can you give examples on parents provoking their children? I think that's in Ephesians 6, which talks about fathers don't provoke your children, which gets into obey your parents as unto the Lord. I think it's Ephesians 6, I believe. Give an example. Well, you can provoke them in the sense of, okay, I gave that little example of just say my boys, if they were trying to. Now, I would never do this to them. Be able to, I dare you. Try it. Come on to me. Do something. No, I ain't going to do that. Oh, you think you grown? Huh? All right, come on. I dare you. Come on. Just say something. Then I'm provoking them. No, but you know how you provoke your kids. What, okay, I give one good example because I know a situation with this where, okay, your son don't have no money, or your kids don't have no money, and they want some new shoes or want something new, and you say you're gonna give it to them for their birthday. You didn't do it for the birthday. Then you say you're gonna give it to them 2 weeks from now. Now we're talking about teenagers. Now we're talking about teenager. So then now I ask you about it, and you still ain't gonna give me the shoes. Now I do want my shoes. Now because you didn't give it to me, now this will is not right, but I get to choose some other kind of way. I would get it through being a runner. I get it through my boyfriend or my girlfriend. I'm going to get the shoes. But you provoked me because you should never told me you're going to give it to me. And this is what we'll do. We promise things that we're not going to do. And then they get it some other kind of way. And then we wondering how they got there. See, you have to have the spirit of discernment in your house. Sure. You have to know when you can do some stuff, because I'm telling you, you can miss a part, and believe me, when you miss it, it's open the door for something there, because the satisfaction, everybody wants satisfaction. And when you're not satisfied as a person, you're going to find satisfaction in some kind of way. Either satisfaction through alcohol, drugs, women, whatever. You're going to find satisfaction somewhere else. And then what you do, you're provoking them to do something else. Because you can't give me. And I have seen people in their household, parents don't never give the kids nothing. Or let's say a husband and wife. The wife, she like to go out. And he is a homebody. All he like is the sports. And I don't like sports, but all he like is sport. He don't want to go out. I continue to ask you, let's go out. Let's go out. Then somebody at my job said, let's go out. Let's go out to lunch. Because my husband don't want to go nowhere. Now, now I'm going out to lunch. He provoked you? You provoked me. We could have went out. Oh, really? You could have went out, but no, you don't want to go out. So now I got somebody take me out. Now you think that's funny, but it's true. Now, because you see, provocation, everybody look at provocation as like a fight. It's not, it's a sensing that things are finna change. You have to have the spirit of discernment to sense there's something about to change that I need to know. Let me act on this. And when you don't act on something that you know that's about to change, and you have no sense of what's going to change, oh my God, you can't get back
what you thought you had, because now you changed the game. It's the same thing, and this is what, kids grow up with allowance or what have you stuff, but if my mom ain't got no money, I want to be like everybody else. Yeah. I don't want to, like, I ain't got nothing and stuff, and then somebody come along and say, you know what, man, can you do this for me?
But now what if the parent legitimately does not have
I understand that. Some kids will help their mom and parents or something like that. You have that. But then when you got a kid that's trying to look like everybody else, that's the danger. Because when you got a kid that want to look like everybody else, if they got a new jacket, I want a new jacket. That's the problem. And I just taught my kids this from day one. You ain't looking like everybody else. I said, if fire break out, you'll be the first one to get burnt up because you trying to find your jacket because everybody else's jacket the same way. All y'all got the same jacket. But then also, too, I think one of my sons came home to me, was crying about some gym shoes. And he was crying about gym shoes because the people in the project had the gym shoes. And I told him, I said, they in the project, you in the house. If they save their welfare check, and they'll have a house. But I got me, you don't put me in no box like, oh, mom, you can't give me no gym shoes. No, I don't want to give you no gym shoes because you don't need none. That's different.
I guess so. All right. Okay, I guess this is kind of changing the subject. I understand that communication is essential in a marriage. What do you do when your husband or wife feels they're the best when it comes to communication, but they don't want to hear what you have to say? They may not let you talk when discussions occur, or they get upset when you bring up topics you're concerned about. Well, what is communication? Communication is dialogue, isn't it? Or it's me talking, you talk, me listening, you listening. When it's one-sided, that's not communication. So that's the first thing. It's not about because when people say that, well, I'm the best communicator, what does that really even mean? Because what do you mean communicate? Because the goal of communicating is for the other person to understand you. If I don't understand you, you're not communicating.
And it also deals with the fact of how you hear.
Exactly.
People hear things totally different. It's just like my husband say. He can say it's a tone of the voice. He can say, "Come here, Laura." Now, if I'm in a mood, that ain't gonna work. But if he said, "Come here, Laura," I need to see you something, And
now that second, they can't even imagine that. Come here, Laura, like. What?
Well, I'm giving you an example of a tone.
Pastor don't talk like that.
Tone. No, he don't talk like that, but I need a tone. I do need a tone. Yeah. So the thing about it that it's how I hear. It's how you hear. Yeah. And that's where communication is based on how I hear. Because even though you can be saying my hair is jacked up, but I'm hearing you saying, you want my hair done? Well, what you say, and I'm feeling you attacking me instead of you helping me. Then if you touch my hair, then what you doing? What you doing? It's how I hear it. Yeah. It's based on that. So then I guess we need to get the level of what communication is all about, because it's really how you hearing it. Mm-hmm. Because if you hearing criticism, there's no communication.
Yeah, sure. See, because if it's an issue going on, you both have to talk it out. You both have to talk and resolve it. Communication is, I heard you, you heard me. You understand what I'm saying? You understand what you're saying? Okay, now how are we going to make this work? Or how are we going to change that? One person screaming, that's not communication. Then it says they get upset when you bring up topics you're concerned about. Well, in marriage, if you're concerned about something, you're supposed to talk it. Because obviously it hasn't been resolved.
And you will bring it back up.
And it's going to come back up.
It's going to come back up.
See, you never, in marriage, when there's situations, you sweeping stuff under the rug, it's going to come back up.
It's going to come back up.
And sometimes it come back up worse.
Because, just like you're going to be sweeping the floor, and he just said something. The fight ain't about the floor. The fight's about 6 months ago. that you didn't answer my question.
Yeah, sure.
Or you didn't respect me when I told you this and that. You know, and this how it come back up. And then you blow up on something that's so, you know, it's so simple. Like, what is your problem? Because, see, some people have a tendency to move on while others don't.
Right.
It's like, you know, what are you, and then my husband will do like, what are you talking about? I'm like, I know you for real. I know you kidding me. You know, and that's where you get mad because did you not see what I see? You know, and this is where the communication get messed up, and because you hear different and you see different, and then we're not agreeing on what we need to agree on to move on. We both have to agree to move on. Yeah. Because it's insulting when one person move on and the other one's still behind.
Because there's still a problem there. See, because you can even, let me put it this way. You can even, sometimes you can resolve something where you can agree that we just don't really see eye to eye on this. In other words, I want you to eat these greens with a fork, but you keep eating them with your hands. All right. Then I'm just making an example, you know.
He's trying to be funny.
Now, nobody know that until you say, you know, I'm just making an example. But then we can resolve it eventually. Listen, I just like eating with my fingers.
My grandmama taught me how to do that.
Well, yeah, I guess so. But you can get to a point you can agree to disagree. I like eating greens with a fork. She like using her fingers. No big deal. So then when we eating greens, I'm not getting mad.
I don't do that in public.
No. Oh, no.
But you know, but you can't. But you can do it. But you could agree to disagree. You can say, you know what, this is
that's
how
something that's
you
really
are.
not. See, we have to learn how to not major on the minors. In relationships, sometimes we've made a mountain out of a hill.
And as me and my husband got older, we have agreed that we need to be separated from time to time, because I need my space to get my head together, and I can be gone from the whole day to get my head together, and he all right with it, because you know he trusts me and said he didn't think I'm gonna do anything, but I just need a day. I just need one day. You know, and I suggest that for every woman. Just get a day.
No, if you're there, let me. No. I don't want to say. I don't want to throw that out there, because some of you wives say, "See what Pastor Laura said," and your husband ain't in agreement with that, and then we got another problem.
Yeah, but this is what we agreed.
We came to that.
We came to the agreement that
right.
I need a day. I just need a day to do me.
Yeah.
You know, and we agree on that. You know, it ain't like that. You know, he liked to see me away from home, but he got used to it. At first, it was a problem. But then he got used to, I will need a day to be away.
And it's okay. It's like when we go out to stay at hotels. We have to have 2 TVs.
Yep. Yeah.
We can't make it with 1 TV.
We can't make it with 1, nope.
Now, we don't argue and fight, but 1 TV there, we might start arguing over that. So we go anywhere, it's got to be 2 TVs.
That's true. And we all right.
We all right.
We all right. We can have a good stay.
Exactly.
A good stay.
All right. Well, that's 30 and a half years for you, right? Okay, next question. With the issue of infidelity, if a spouse has cheated several times, should he or she confess to all of them, or just mention the one, or not to make matters worse?
What's the difference between one and many?
Well, you know what? It depends. Now I'm going to be general about this. It all, see, because I've learned over the years, people have different pressure points. People have different levels of tolerance. And then sometimes people don't know what they do if they're in a situation. Because sometimes it's easy to say what one would do when you're on the outside. You know, really, until one actually gets in it. Now, there is no, it would easy to say, well, just that she just tell them she had 100 men. Well, that depends. See, because you could have some spouses, they don't want to hear that. They might want to hear that, okay, you did it once, even though you did it 38 times. They may not want to hear that. And your spouse, you might know your spouse don't want to hear that. Especially if you're not doing it now. If you're still doing it, well, you got another problem.
Now, the thing about it, too, is that when people say, I want to know the truth, you don't want to know the truth.
Most people don't.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know details. You don't want to know. It's like, did y'all eat at this restaurant? You don't want to know that.
Really,
you don't want to know that.
See, in the mindset, you think you want to know that. But deep down, people really, you know.
You don't want to know. You don't want to know. Did you buy her this when you bought me this? No, you don't want to know that.
You don't want to know that. You know, did y'all go see this movie?
You don't
and every time that movie come up on TV, what you thinking about her? See?
You don't want to know that. You don't want to know that. And we play games with ourselves and say, let's be free. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. And I have known a couple, really, just a couple, and both of them, they were saved at the time. And he decided, I'm coming home, and I'm going to tell my wife the truth, and you tell me the truth. And we both going to tell each other the truth. And so she told him that the baby that was in the house was not his baby. He told her he's been sleeping with this other woman, blah, blah. Where you think they at? Divorce. Because he tried to, because the honesty was cool, but he tried to accept the boy. Now, when she said this, the boy was 5 years old. Now, he been with the boy 5 years. All this boy knows is his father. And they went to court. It was nasty. It was nasty. And then eventually, after all that, that's my son.
Exactly.
So you went through all that. But see, the boy don't know his natural father. So this all he knows is him as daddy. Right. So then now we went through all this, and now I'm still raising my son. This still my boy. But this honesty game.
Now, we're not telling any, now, like I said, we just making it, and we're not saying, we're not condoning lying or nothing like that. You have to know your spouse. You have to know where you at. Sometimes I've known people who just tell stuff just to get it off their chest and don't even think of the consequences that go with that. So stuff has to be outweighed. It has to really be weighed out when you're dealing with things like that. Some of y'all feeling uncomfortable. I'm not sure why. But so in a situation like that, we would not dare say, well, do this, do it. If this was multiple times, tell it. The truth will set you free. We can make a lot of that. Sometimes that truth gets you killed, depending on who you married to. Some folks do kill when they. And if you know if you married to a spouse like that, well, you pretty much know he or she will kill you.
You better go.
Now, if you just messed up one and you delivered and sanctified and it's in the blood has forgiven it and you will never do it again, and then my advice to you maybe just take it to your grave, because if you tell it, you might be in the grave tonight.
But then also too, you got to when you hear it, because I have known people that could not forgive it.
Sure.
What they did was they accept the truth, but they went to their grave not forgiving that person, and they stayed with them for 20 years.
Sure.
And they could have walked out, but they kept that for 20 years. They could not forgive. And then when the person was dying on their deathbed, the man of God heard from God, said they have not forgiven, and the preacher said, well, can you forgive your husband?
Yeah.
And she said, I will never forgive him. And she died. She died and would not forgive him. So if you're gonna deal with it, then forgive him or forgive her. and then you work on relationship. Don't stay with the person and still hold grudges and still hating and resist them, because that's not doing you good for your soul. That's not good for you. That's unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what a lot of people do. They hold on to grudges for years, and then that's how you develop cancer, ulcer, and all these different diseases, because you hold on. If you're gonna forgive, and let's move on. Let's make this work. Yeah. Let our latter days be good. Let us learn how to deal with each other.
Well, if you're not gonna make it work, then that's the end of that. There's one or the other. All right. Any more questions? Anyone want to come on up?
This is just a clarification from the last question. So, but you should still tell your spouse if you did cheat. You're not holding that to the grave, or are you still under the impression, like, okay, if I tell?
I really think it depends.
Okay, so that means you've stopped and you're not doing it anymore. But you know what I mean? Because I guess if my spouse cheated, then I guess as of now, I would want to know. But in that mindset, I mean, you know, everybody had capability of snapping. But, you know, I mean, I'm not even going to put it past myself. Yeah. But I guess, like, tell the truth, shame the devil. But, you know, I mean, I guess that depends on your current, if you've stopped cheating, or depending on how your spouse will take it, if you should say something.
I really think it depends on. Now, if you're dealing with Christians, which it can happen, but not repeatedly over and over and over and over again. Now, something is up when whether it's man or woman, and they just cheating left and right and ain't thinking nothing about it. They need to come back to the altar. Because sin is sin, you know. But now, so that has something to do with, to an extent. Then sometimes it's even a matter of who the people are. Sometimes you could have people in high positions, people who are well known. You can have preachers, whatever. And sometimes it really, really depends. You know, so it could be. I would not just outright just say, yeah, if that happened, yeah, they need to tell us that. It depends on the relationship. Sometimes it depends on the age of a marriage. It really, really depends.
Depends on your kids.
Yeah, if there are kids involved, it's all sorts of things, you know, that you have to really consider and think about.
Because
and then sometimes it's even the question is, why is the person telling? Because they feeling guilty, or they about to get caught. They finna let the cat out the bag before somebody else do. So if you do that because you think you're gonna get exposed, you're not sorry. You just about to get caught.
But it really, you know, every time anybody do hurt on anything, it affect more than just you.
Sure.
It affect everybody around you. And you know, you have to deal with the consequences of the distance. You have to deal with the consequences of the confusion. You have to deal with the consequences of so many different feelings, you know, especially with kids have feelings about their parents, you know, hurting the family. Why you do this to our family, you know. And it's a lot involved in that, you know. So the best news we can tell you, don't cheat. Just stay with who you got. Just everybody stay happy with what you got.
Yeah.
I wanted to know what is the form of disrespect, because I know with different parents, different things could be disrespectful. So if telling a parent how you felt about, like, say a situation you guys got into an argument, or maybe the way she talked to you or he talked to you, now is that being disrespectful? Saying, like, I didn't appreciate the way you said this to me, or I didn't appreciate you calling me this. Now is that being disrespectful?
Well, you know what? Once again, sometimes language really depends on how the relationship. You know, there's a certain way, a certain tone you can talk to your parent because you have that kind of relationship, and then there's another way you can't. See, because like you just said, you know, I don't appreciate you, you talk to me that way. Now, there's a parent who can take that as just by you saying it like that, coming to me like, I don't appreciate you, that's disrespectful.
Yeah.
Now, you have some parents who think there's nothing wrong with that. Because I'm just telling you, I didn't appreciate you talking to me like that.
Who are you?
Now you see how see, because we another generation. Just that line right there, I didn't appreciate, is disrespectful to us.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
I see, like me and my mother was totally different.
Totally different.
Now, me and my mother, my mother, I don't know how you say it about her. She was a funny woman. She told you the truth, but she said it funny. And so you had to deal with her. And I can tell my mom, be quiet. Just be quiet. I can tell mom, be quiet, mom, be quiet.
Right, she could talk to her like
she
that.
did not think it
She didn't think
disrespectful.
anything
I said, be
about
quiet, because I know my mom would call you a name, but laugh about it. So I said, mom, be quiet, mom, be quiet. Don't do that, don't do that. But that's how my mother was. It wasn't like me disrespecting my mom and telling her to be quiet, because she should be quiet.
Because I could never say that.
No, I know, but that's
Yeah,
how
but
that's
how,
my mother was, though.
But it was not disrespectful to them at all.
It wasn't disrespectful to her.
Right.
Okay. And I was saying, if you're saying that if they're cursing and you just stay quiet and just sit there.
You just walk away.
Yeah.
Oh, you walk away?
Yeah.
Okay.
You're not in no cursing match with your parents.
Right.
Just walk away.
Not just saying that you will ever say anything back, but
just walk
Yeah,
away.
if you can walk away,
just walk away. Don't do that, because nobody wants to say nothing they're gonna regret later. Just walk away.
Yeah. Or if you're on the phone, sometimes if a parent just going off of it, you may just, hey, daddy, mama, I'm sorry, I gotta go.
okay.
Okay, I have 3 different questions.
Go ahead.
One of them is about the children. You all know that my children are kind of tall. My boys are. And it's always good for others to come around you and let you know that your kids are very respectful. You trained them up correctly. But what do you do when your children, like you said, come back into the household, feel that they can do anything, but it's always, my thing is one rule. You come in my house, it's one rule. I don't care where I'm at. It's always one rule. Mm-hmm. Respect the house at all times. What happens, a situation happened whereas I actually had to break up a fight with my 2 sons. And was I wrong on taking the older son and saying, you know better, and I grabbed him and he was like, but Clarence did this. Mm-hmm. I was like, but you know better. Mm-hmm. So was I wrong for actually saying, you know better, you know how to walk away from it, you allowing your, you know how you say your emotions to come up. Yeah. So if you're allowing your emotions to come up, was I wrong for actually telling Jawan that you know better, and I grabbed him? And he looked at me because I'm a woman and I'm single and I took care of all my kids. And I grabbed him, and the way I grabbed him, he looked at me like, oh my gosh, this a girl doing this to me, because I had to actually slam him down.
Sure.
So
yeah.
Was I wrong for that?
Well, the thing with that is you know your kids.
Right.
You know them, and then if anyone should have walked away, it should have been him. That if he's more mature than the other one, where it should have been him. So that's a normal reaction.
Okay.
Because some kids, some things they do, you expect them, and the other, I don't expect you to do that. So you know better than that. You shouldn't have did that, or you shouldn't have allowed this.
Okay, because to this day, he still reminds me of that. He was like, man, Mom, you actually threw me down. But anyway. The other thing is when you say people comes into your house and disrespect the household. And my thing is they had friends to come in also. And one thing is no smoking, no drinking, no cussing. On Sundays, if you're here, you're going to church. If not, you got to leave. So now one day they were there, and basically he was my daughter and her baby's father at the time. was at the house, and I told them they had to go because I was on my way to church. Now, my thing is, she told me I was disrespectful to her and him because I put them out. Was I wrong for that? No? Because she thought I was, and she did not talk to me for actually a year and a half.
Well, that's all right.
The wife or the girlfriend said it?
No, my daughter didn't
your
talk
daughter.
to me
Oh, okay.
for about a year
So
and a
you
half.
embarrassed her in front of her boyfriend?
Yeah, at the
Oh,
time.
my God.
Yeah. No, you wasn't wrong for that.
No, you
See,
wasn't.
remember, keep in mind what we said earlier. Whatever the rules of I mean, every institution, everything has rules. The job you work on has rules. This great country we live in has rules.
You know, the thing about it, and I always said this. Now, I'm just a stickler for. I believe in affection, but I believe in affection in areas.
Right.
I don't believe in affection outwards in a sense like that. I just would have had a fit if I walked in a house and one of my kids was hugged up on the couch. I was like, Lord, help me, Jesus, help me, help me, help me. I don't know what I would have done, and so I never done it because it never gonna go on.
It never happened.
It never gonna do it. No, I couldn't do it. So I understand what you're saying.
Sure.
But I could not. I don't know. I just don't know. I can't think like that.
But that's the rules. See, it's no different. Before anybody think like, oh, that's too strict. That would be like you in your car. You don't smoke and you don't allow nobody to smoke in your car, and somebody get in there, whether it's your uncle, and they lighting up a cigarette. You gonna sit there coughing and don't say nothing. Like, you can't smoke up in here. What's the difference? You know, if the rules of the house is such and such, you can't, like I say, everything has rules. The church have rules. You can't come in this church smoking. Just sit in the front row and light up one. You know, we don't really allow that. Don't some churches around the building. If you just got to smoke, go down the street somewhere. You know, so there's nothing wrong with that. That's the rules of your household. Certain things you just won't allow. Okay. And you don't have to bend. Some things we'll tolerate. Some things like, no, this is how I go.
Another one is, can you explain the difference between quality and quantity?
Quality quantity just means the amount or numbers of something. Quality is more like the best of something, like something that's good, a good quality. You know, quantity just means many, several, you know, quantity of 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. Quality is just something that's of good.
Maybe I should say in what they call dating in a general factor. It's like I had a situation with one of my coworkers was talking about, she asked me to explain the difference between quality of a relation compared to a quantity of a relation.
Okay.
Maybe I didn't give
Okay,
you
I see what you mean. Well, of course we want a quality relationship, because quantity does not necessarily mean you're going to have a quality relationship. Because I know some people who have been married for over 30 years and still do not have a quality marriage. So time does not automatically guarantee a good marriage. Some folk, really, I'm serious, I know some folk who have been married years and the marriage still is not good. They kind of, I don't, you know, you just get to a point you just tolerate. It's cheaper to stay married. You know, people don't want to be embarrassed. So don't think for a second that years automatically mean to get better.
Right.
You know. But if we had to pick, do I want to be married for 50 years or 5 years of a good, great quality marriage? I'd rather take the 5 years. Because that can be outright depressing. We've been married 30 years and been miserable.
And I refuse to be married.
And I've said this for years. To me, next to hell is a bad marriage.
That's true. And you know, and thing about this, I mean, you know, when we was talking about getting a divorce, I was going to risk it all with my kids to stay instead of staying in a marriage that I did not want to be in. I was not, you know, I'm not going to get up every morning, can't stand to look at you.
Right.
Or get up every morning and can't trust you. Or get up every morning and don't even like you as a person. You wasted how many years?
There's only a few, I think.
No, I'm saying that how many years you have wasted
Oh, sure,
your
sure.
life, you know, being unhappy. And life is short. I could have been married over and got me a son. I was, especially when we was young, you know, you 20-something years old and you still got your life ahead of you. It doesn't matter how many kids you got, but I'm not going to be stuck like, you know, because the old school, they said, well, you got to stay with the marriage for the kids' sake. I like, boo that. I'm not staying married for no 20 years so everybody get 21 years old and I'm happy. Are you for real? No, it ain't that serious. So.
Now, we're not advocating people divorce and all of that, but to answer that quality, no, but I felt the same way.
He felt the
I
same
felt
way.
the same
But
way.
it was like
She was ready to go. I'm ready for her to go.
But it was like the society would have told me that you can't go nowhere once you got kids.
Sure.
They said you got to stay in the marriage because you got kids. And what I did, I looked at myself. I said, I'm a survivor. I didn't, you know, if I ain't have no family, my kids, they'll survive. You know, I didn't go on crack. I didn't commit suicide. I mean, you know, I just wear it. I mean, this not recommended for everybody.
Right. That was just.
I'm just saying that I just refuse to be with somebody that's I'm happy with, because it's too short. It's really too short. You know what that family said? You can be miserable by yourself. You don't need nobody to be miserable with you. That's just a question.
But now let me throw this out because I know people can take it to the left. Well, you know what? That was my word tonight.
No.
We unhappy, and the pastor say, you know, we still young. Well, that's not what we saying.
We talking about early now marriage.
Yeah. No, but I mean, we got young marriages here. We got more young marriages than older.
But we got saved marriages.
Amen.
And we hope that they do the right thing. like the man
And
said.
the last one is when it comes down to, I was like Crystal. Basically, when it comes down to cheating on a different level, basically cheating is not just a factor of you actually having physical sex with an individual.
Sure.
Cheating is actually you having a personal conversation with the person of another sex also, correct?
To a point, yeah, it is. If you I think we talked about this some time ago. Adultery or cheating, however you want to put it, is not just limited to a physical act. I would be considered cheating on her if I'm talking to the opposite sex in inappropriate or ways I should not be talking, or if I'm having a conversation with another woman that she know nothing about.
Telling her stuff about me.
No, I ain't gonna be telling her nothing about you. I should not.
No, I'm talking about telling stuff you don't like about me.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I don't have to even be saying that. We don't even have to be discussing you.
Well, I'm in the room.
No.
I'm just saying
no. We don't even have to be talking about you. But if I'm sitting up there having a conversation with another woman, we just talking, we just kicking it, we all this or that, and I can't tell you about it, that this is my own, that this is my friend, that you know nothing about.
I guess in this day and time, everybody got so many friends. And you got friends on Facebook, you got friends on Twitter, you got friends on everything. So now, how can I distinguish which one is your friend, which one is your girlfriend?
That ain't for you to distinguish. No, I guess the question she just asked on cheating other than being physical.
Level.
Well, I don't know. I can't answer that. I don't know what that means.
Because I know guys that have friend girls that they talk to. And they just say they're friends.
And they married.
And they married.
And do the spouse know?
Yeah, they know.
And they know and they think nothing of it. Now, don't misunderstand. I'm not saying that it's impossible to have a friendly. Now, it depends how you define a friend. But to have a friendly relationship with, just like some of you all have friendly relationship with each other and you all married to other people of the opposite sex. So we're not saying that you can't have a friendly relationship with someone, but not at the price of I've got a relationship with someone and you don't know. Or if I even cross that, then you have to be careful, even your conversation with friendly relationships. I have no business. One of the things conversations that is totally prohibited to talk to anybody of the opposite sex with is sex. In no kind of way. That is inappropriate. Inappropriate. That conversation, those words should not even come, that conversation should not come up never, because that's inappropriate.
But I also think too, Pastor, that it's a thin line between friends and lovers. I always think that, you start out as friends, and then you wind up being your lover.
But see, like I say, everybody defines friends different. Everybody got a different definition of that. People say that's my friend, and it really isn't, because that's really just an associate. People say that on their job. That's my friend. It ain't your friend. You just see them at work. So people throw that word loosely around, say friends, because generally in lifetime, you're not going to really have that many friends. You'll have plenty of associates, but not really that many friends. Trust me on that. You have plenty of associates. But by however you defining a friend, a real friend, you ain't going to have a truckload of those. You won't have that. And it's great if you have 1, 2, 3.
But what about you have a friend that like to go shopping in the opposite sex and your wife don't like to go shopping?
Once again, you got to be careful to not, see, you have to avoid any type or any form of intimacy. Intimacy is not just physical, but any form of intimacy.
We going shopping.
But see, now, because she know it don't make it right. Okay, we got an open relationship. Because I'm messing around, does that still make it right?
But if it's open, then you make it right.
It still don't make it right.
I'm just kidding, y'all.
No, right. But it still don't make it right. And you have people like that. I know some people who will disrespect. Hear a woman go past, and my wife's sitting right here. And I say, oh, look at you. You looking good. Say that to a woman. And she just laughing. I don't think none of that's him. That is so disrespectful and dishonorable to the marriage. Let her say something, guy. Ooh, boy, you looking nice today. The Jesus in me. So y'all know I need prayer sometimes. Yeah. You can't do that.
It's just you have to be careful with the lines you cross. You have to really be careful with the lines you cross, and because your wife know how your lingo is, that don't make it right. Like
right. Some people do that.
That don't make it right because oh my God, I just said wow, you picked up some weight. You shouldn't be looking at nobody's body that you know if they picked up weight or not.
I had a married lady a few years ago. We had a party at my house. And she was trying to say, she said, I lost some weight. I just looked at him. Just like I'm looking at you now. It was a pause. Then the subject got changed.
Because when you say you lost weight or
you want me to look at you.
You want me to look at you.
Or you notice something. Or you even got to be careful with that, telling another woman, boy, you look like you losing weight there, ain't you?
That should not be a conversation. But people
See,
do
now
it.
you all think that's innocent, but I'm telling you, when that happens, that's a seed being sown. And it may not be this week, may not be next month, but that's a seed sown. And depending on where that woman's mindset is, ooh, somebody looking at me. Then they'll start, if they mind a little bit off, then they'll start wanting you to notice that they lost some weight. And start looking forward to them compliments.
Okay.
Oh, gosh, we got to hurry and wrap it up.
My question is, you know how a person, when they married, they might have been separated from their husband or their wife, maybe a year, let's say a year or two. They want to date because they figure right now, I'm not dealing with my husband. He's probably doing his thing or my wife doing their thing. My question now, a Christian to know, even though now you might not know that they married, then they might be honest and some will tell you they married, don't. Now, my question to you as a Christian, what is the best judgment of yourself to say, okay, you know they're not looking for a relationship because they married, but they saying they separate. Do you pursue that as saying, well, okay, I understand you married, you saying you separate with your husband, nothing's going on, but you're just dating because you've been away from him 1 or 2 years. Now, as I'm talking about Christian because we know the world, they're going to do that regardless. Sure. Now, do you put yourself in that predicament to where you say, okay, we can do that, but it's just to go out and have fun and just get to know each other? Or do you say, well, I will wait till you officially marriage is over? Because even though, like you said, many people be separated for years. I know people that been married 10 years, been separated like 15 years. Sure. So what I'm saying, like a Christian, do you just say, well, okay, do you date a person like that, or you just say, well, I'd just rather leave that alone?
Well, as Christians, we believe in marriage according to the law, don't we?
Yeah.
If you still married, you still married. You still married. I don't care if you've been separated and I've been in a living house for 50 years. You are still married. And if I'm a Christian, you are not available. You still married. Well, I'm separated. No, but you still married. Your name is still Miss Smith.
And then also, too, it lets me know that you are not responsible enough to let go. Because,
that's another story.
That's saying that you ain't even taking the steps to be free. So, I have a problem with that because, see, the person that's not married is investing time, investing my heart, investing, whatever in this money. If you taking care of money, anything. I didn't invest all this in you, and then you decide we're gonna get back together. I don't care if it's been 10 years, but you have wasted all my time, and I would not put myself in that predicament to invest in somebody that's still not responsible to let go. Because that, people hold on people for insurance reason. You still hold on somebody for insurance reason? Are you for real? You that hard up that you can't let this person go, or even they won't even take on your last name. When you get married, so they still want to make sure that they get that check.
Right.
Yeah, but the bottom line, if a person is still married, they still married. And we would be totally out of order attempting to talk to somebody. I don't care if they say, well, we're going through the divorce. You still married. Until you are no longer legally married, there is nothing for us to say. We can't even, I'm talking from a Christian standpoint, we can't even, well, we'll just talk and whatever, and then when it finalized, then we'll make it more serious. You're still out of order because you should not be talking to that married man or that married woman. Point blank. Until you are legally divorced, in the eyesight of God, you are still married. It don't matter what they say. you are still married. And we have no business talking to somebody who is still married in no kind of way.
And it just shows responsibility. You're
That's
not
true,
responsible.
too. If you got somebody
You're not
who's been
responsible.
separated 10, 15 years, what's up with that?
Like,
I mean, that's a question I would ask any, whether you know Jesus or not.
right. Like what?
You've been separated 10, 15 years. How
And
come
we
you
get-
have not divorced? I shrink it down. 5 years. 5 years. We separate. What? We still trying to figure out if we.
And you
what?
hold up your life.
You holding up your
hold
life,
up
and
your
that other
life.
person's too.
I'm-
If the marriage is over, if it's over, it's over. I mean, really, if it's over, end it then.
Amen.
There's no sense. See, that is just as silly being engaged for 15 years. That's just as silly.
Yeah. Amen.
We've been separated 10 years. That's just as silly being engaged 10 years. If it's over, let's legally get so we can move on.
Yeah, because you cannot move on still being legally married.
No, you can't.
You can't do it. You know, people shack up and I know people that live in Chicago and they husband in Mississippi. And I'm thinking to myself, why don't y'all get divorced? Well, nobody ain't said nothing. I'm too loud. I don't want to pay for it. He don't want to pay for it. Baby.
Right.
It is. I know 1, 2, 3, 4 relationships where the couple, they were shacking up, but their partners were still married. And then the person died. Now, they done spent all this time with this person, shacking up with them for years and years, and then they died, and guess who got the money?
The wife.
The wife. While she sat up there and played house and did all of that, when that joker died, the wife got the money, the girlfriend didn't get a dime. I named 4 folks like that.
Okay, another question I have. You talk on appearance, where sometimes things may seem like it, and it can be totally innocent. Okay, say for like, you have 2 Christian people. One is married and the other one's not. But they always say, we see you guys together, like, it's something going on, and that's from their prospect. But as and both the Christians know it's innocent. Like we say, we Christians, so but we assist each other, help each other out. But somebody just say, well, it doesn't look that. Well, how would a Christian handle that? For this, like, okay, it's innocent,
Yeah.
like you said, and it can be innocent, but the appearance to someone else may not look as innocent because they only seeing what they believe, but not believing what they seeing.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. You kind of answered it. Was it 1 Thessalonians? Is it 3:22 or 5:22? When it says abstain from all appearance of evil. If it looked like something, we told to stay away from it. See, because we don't want to do anything that can discredit our reputation. And if it looked like something, because he said, you don't have to be doing anything. But if it looked like it, then I got to stay away from it.
Now, who does it look like it to? Is it the person that's seeing it, or is it the person that's doing it?
Well, if it's the person that's seeing it, obviously it's throwing off that appearance. Plus, as an individual, and I believe this, as Christians, we have to always be very careful in what we do, where we go, and what we say, and especially if we are married dealing with opposite sex people. We have to be very, 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 very careful with that. Because one little wrong appearance can mess your reputation up. That would be the same if I'm driving down the street and I see a woman, a church woman that I know, and I'm going that way and like, well, I'm going that way. I could just pick her up. She at the bus stop and take her home. I'm not doing it. If she was in there and she said, ain't that sister so-and-so? Do you want to get her? Then that's a different story. See, because if I do, and God knows I ain't thinking about nobody, But here I'm driving in the car and Sister so-and-so right there, and somebody see me. Even though it's nothing, I'm just helping the sister out. I'm the reverend.
Right.
That's what that scripture means. Even abstain or withdraw from the very appearance of what somebody can interpret as.
So even if somebody say like you see one, you saying you married, you see one of the sisters, you pass them by, even though they see your vehicle, you blow bump and keep on going. Wouldn't that be evil? Like you pass me up, I'm going to
Yeah.
You're not going to blow.
And they thinking,
First of all, I ain't blowing. First of all, I ain't blowing. I don't blow. I see people all the time.
I'm not going to blow.
I ain't blowing.
I'm not going to blow.
See, y'all laughing. Trust me, y'all. I can tell you a bunch of stories that'll make some of y'all straight hair curl.
Amen.
This is real life. You got to be so careful.
It's the thing about, I understand, Derek, in a sense where you're saying like it really ain't nobody's business because I'm not doing anything. I understand that point when you say I'm not doing nothing.
Right.
That is true.
That's
if you're
true.
not doing nothing, but it's just like I was engaged to pastor, and somebody drove up in my neighborhood, and it was a guy from school. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't even know anybody that knew him was even around. And I just did like this in the car. And before the night was over, he called and said, I heard you was talking to somebody. And I'm thinking, who was around? Who saw this? And you'd be amazed. And it was innocent just saying hi to somebody in the car, but I was engaged to him. And so, of course, his people would know who he talking to. Hey, listen to me. Yeah. So it was innocent. It wasn't like it was anything, but somebody always perceive your goodness for evil if you in an area where you should not be at. Yeah. And we're not saying that what you doing is not
exactly right.
I'm sure it is, because that's how your heart is. Right. But you got to be careful. That's only if you care about your reputation. Now, if you don't care about your reputation, what people say about you, then we ain't got to have this conversation. Right. Because but if you trying to build a conversation as a moral good man, mm-hmm. and one day you want to get married again, if I go to anybody in the church and say, how's Derek character? When Derek in everybody's house, mm-hmm. then they give me a sign that hey, you not to be trusted. Because you will get up in the middle of the night to help somebody, and I don't need that on me.
Yeah. See, that's what it's not questioning, because we can all have good hearts and things. But that's why I said that, to abstain from the appearance. See, because all we really got is our reputation. Mm-hmm. That's what really, being the salt of the earth, having that influence. When you lose your influence, and we are to influence people. Sometimes people say, I don't care what people think. You're supposed to care, because you're trying to influence people. So you do care what they think. You do care how people view you, because you are trying to influence them to this. But if your reputation is bad, you can't influence anybody to anything.
Even if you like, because people now in this age, people talk people gospel, and people just say things out of ignorancy and out of jealousy as well too now. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm elaborating on this, because it's not the fact that, like you said, whether or not it looks evil, mm-hmm. but you want to understand who's it looking evil to. Because like I say, in this time and day, you got people just say stuff just out of ignorance.
Well, as far as people lie, people can lie about anything. People can do that. But let me put it this way. As Pastor Laura kind of said, it really depends on the individual too. Okay. And it depends on where you're at in life and where you're going. Maybe that could be, but if you're married, that cuts off a lot of things. If you're single, that gives you a little leeway to a point, but once again, it depends on where you're at in life and how far you want to go. Certain things I just will not do because I don't want to take that chance. It's just like if this happened a few times, if we went to someone's birthday party or their birthday program and it was a woman or something, and if we're going to give them a seed or a check, I will tell her, you write the check out from you, not from me. Now, somebody could say, what's the big deal in that? You know why? Because I'm very, very careful. You never want your good spoken evil of, as the scriptures say. And I know how reputation, I've seen folks, they build their reputation a lifetime, do something stupid, and it crash, and they never get it back again.
But Derek, I mean, if you got your mind made up, and it seems like you do, who cares at this point if you got your mind made up?
You know what, Pastor, you're right, because personally, seriously, I can be honest with myself, because I help a lot of people, including I do a lot of stuff for people. I help people. That's how I was
you're
raised.
a single man, though.
I know, but
now
still,
some of that stuff,
talk,
well,
people still talk.
Now I got to be honest. Now I know what you're saying, but I got to shoot from the hip to you.
Okay, amen.
Now you still got to watch it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're single, you still have to be careful with that, because you still don't want your good spoken evil of. Okay. And you still must care about what people, I'm not talking about when people lie. Who cares about folks lying? Right. But you still have to watch it, and then you have to learn discerning sometimes. Okay, this I'm doing. Okay, I know my heart is good on help, but how does this look? Maybe I can still help this person, but from a different way. Instead of, say, I'm just saying an example. Instead of me picking up Pastor April, maybe I can get Sister Courtney to go pick up. My heart is still there, but I'm doing it a different way. Mm-hmm. You kind of know what I mean?
I hear you.
But then now, once you marry, then a lot of stuff.
That would change.
It changes.
I got that part. Okay, amen.
All right. We're out of time. We're going to pick it up. This has been Let's Talk About Marriage and the Family. We'll see you this Sunday morning. God bless you. Come on, let's give God another moment of praise.